Welcome to this astrological update for the month of October 2023. And in this month we have two eclipses, a solar eclipse on October the 14th and a lunar eclipse on October the 28th. And they will bring an important new beginning, which is also associated with radical changes. And today it is all about what these very strong energies will bring up for you on a personal level, but also for the collective of humanity. And a warm welcome to you here on my YouTube channel. And if you would like to receive a weekly update about the energies and the astrological aspects, then feel free to subscribe to my weekly newsletter where I share a lot of information with you every week. And I also have an exclusive membership where I share unpublished channelings and important astrological informations. And if you are interested, check the links below the video. We have a very dynamic month ahead of us, where many things are in upheaval. And we will experience extremely fiery energies with Mars and Ketu in a very important conjunction, and also the solar eclipse which will happen in the lunar mansion of Mars in Chitra. And Mars is a planet who is very fiery. But let's start at the beginning of the month. Right on October the 1st, Venus and Mercury change their zodiac sign. Venus changes into the sign of Leo and Mercury into the sign of Virgo. And that brings a relief of energies and new impulses, where we felt slowed down in the last 2 months. And now things are moving forward again. Mercury in the sign of Virgo is exalted, which means that the energies of Mercury can be very strong and also supportive. And Mercury stands for our intelligence and making new plans and recognizing new opportunities in your life. New ideas can come up, how you can improve and make your life a better life. And Mars will move into the sign of Libra on October the 3rd and will be directly in the transit over the lower lunar node Ketu. And this is a very critical time period, because the upper lunar node is for the next 3 months at 0 degrees. It is like the upper lunar node stands still at 0 degrees. And this is the 0 point of the zodiac cycle, and which we also call in Vedic astrology Gandanta. And I'm speaking not of Western astrology, I'm speaking of Vedic astrology. This is a completely other system than the most known Western astrology system here in this part of the world. And at this 0 point, we can often experience extremes. Often extremes, weather events, weather chaos, and sometimes also tragic events. And also the feeling of losing control. And Mars and Ketu, they form a very heavy energy cocktail, which brings with it an increased potential for aggression and war and the use of weapons, and also impulsive reactions that are not really thought through, and also acts of terror, with Mars and Ketu in a very near conjunction. And they will be in conjunction until the end of October. These things, they do not have to happen, but often people, they lose really their clear thinking when those energies come together. And also the Sun will conjoin this special conjunction of Mars and Ketu from October the 18th. And this can lead also to insecurities for many people, that clarity is missing. Which way should I choose? And especially in relationships, because Libra, where this conjunction happens, is the sign that is connected to interacting with others and creating bonds. And the Sun also represents leadership positions, and with Ketu and Mars in Libra, there is a lot going on and changes can occur there. And also suddenly, because they are in opposition of Uranus. There can be a sudden knockout of a leader, and it can also maybe bring a woman into the play, because Venus and Sun, they exchange their energies at this time. And so it could be that a woman can take over the role of a leadership position. And we will see how this will be played out, and maybe Kamala Harris will play an important role in the USA government. We will see how the things will, how the things will change. On October the 11th, Pluto goes direct. And when a planet, and especially one of the outer planets, like Pluto, goes direct, and they are normally very slowly, this change in energy, in direction, can bring up an important shift in energies. And we can partly feel this energies, this shift in energies. Maybe not exactly at this day in the calendar, but you can feel maybe the difference. And it is mostly in your perception that the outer planets can change something, that you start to see things in another way. And Pluto is in the lunar mansion Uttara Ashada. We call this in Vedic astrology also the nakshatras. And this nakshatra is a nakshatra of the Sun, and it is directly connected to the solar eclipse on the 14th of October, because the Sun connects to the Sun at a solar eclipse. And Pluto stands for great transformations. Pluto is pure power, and that often goes hand in hand with radical changes. And during this time, people can change their mind very quickly. And also the topic of war and conflicts is very intense, because Pluto is all about power and wanting to have the control and the big money, corruption and humiliation. And those are very important topics for the upcoming solar eclipse on October the 14th. And I have already made an extra video about this event. I will link it here so you can watch it if you are interested. But there is something very beautiful happening with this eclipse, with the solar eclipse. And that is that it takes place very close to the fixed star Spica. Spica is one of the brightest stars we have in the sky. And Spica represents the light itself that can give us guidance. especially in moments of darkness. And with this eclipse, this can help us to find hope and to find our true inner essence, our true inner light, and that we are always under divine guidance, no matter how we feel, especially in these times right now here on earth, where we can feel like everything is only getting more worse and we are lost. But speaker can also mean, when it happens together with an eclipse, that also a very bright spiritual leader may leave earth. That is also possible. We will see how this will be played out. But we also should understand, maybe with every eclipse more and more, that our life here on earth is a little bit, not only a little bit, it is a game of Maya. That we have this big illusion that our body is everything we are. That's not true. We have lost ourselves so much here on earth that we do not really understand and really can realize who we are. And eclipses gives us the possibility to find through the darkness our true essence in us. Another very important thing about those eclipses this month is they are in a conjunction with Saturn. And Saturn is also very important because Saturn will change its lunar mansion, its nakshatra, one day after the solar eclipse. And this is of great importance. And Saturn also starts to slow down because Saturn will turn direct at the beginning of November. And so the impact of Saturn is more intense than normally. And Saturn often brings difficulties and obstacles in our life. But Saturn is the one that is very important. He brings also often a correction and a clearing of the situation. And Saturn helps us to discard all that we no longer need. And we also have Uranus and Pluto involved in both eclipses, because both Uranus and Pluto, they are in a lunar mansion of the Sun that rules the Sun. And the outer planets stand for our higher consciousness and also for the higher consciousness of the collective. So this solar eclipse can bring new insights to many people to see and find new solutions and paths. It is never that the planetary energies are only good or bad. It is always up to us how we express them, because they are part of us. And do we recognize the opportunities that the changes will bring with them, or do we focus only on the negative aspects? And Saturn transits back in the nakshatra, the lunar mansion Dhanishta. This is similar to the transit of Saturn at the beginning of the war in the Ukraine in February 2022. And now Saturn returns back in Dhanishta. And it is the last time for the next 30 years that Saturn will stay in Dhanishta. And Dhanishta is connected to the planet Mars, to the energies of Mars. And Mars is the planet of war. And it will bring up also more fiery energy when Saturn will transit one day after the eclipse in the nakshatra of Dhanishta. And I'm so sorry to say that, but these are the planets they show us, and maybe also new wars can start when Saturn returns in Dhanishta. But this must not be. Nothing is set in stone. It is all about our decisions we make as humanity here on Earth. These are particularly critical times till December, and the extreme tension that a stationary Saturn can create in conjunction with Uranus can also trigger new earthquakes. Very important is also to look in your personal horoscope which life topics are triggered and activated with those transits in the sky. And if you would like to have a Vedic horoscope with a little ebook to understand more how to read a horoscope, you can order it in our store. Check the link below the video. A Vedic horoscope is not the same as the Western horoscope. The planets are in different houses, and we have a lot more planetary aspects that we use for our interpretation of a horoscope. The Sun moves into the sign of Libra on October the 18th, and as I have said in some videos, this could be the ultimate trigger for the stock market to weaken, because we have a very similar situation as also in the year of 1929 when there was a big stock market crash. Whether that can be the case this year again or not, I do not really know, but the energies shows us the possibility. The energies for October, they stand for a lot of change, a lot of restlessness, and it is important, with so much chaos on the outside, to create for yourself an inner sacred place where you can find stillness. Maybe it's also nice to have a special place in nature where you can always go back and find there the connection to your true essence by being in nature. Or you might have an altar in your home and where you feel really safe and calm. This is really important when this chaos on the outside is so intense. And even this chaos and this very turbulent times on the outside, we have to understand it is for a greater good. And things want to clear out. And we are in a big new beginning. And one last thing, the lunar eclipse that awaits us in October the 28th. And I will make an extra video about this. The lunar eclipse will take place in the sign of Aries at 11 degrees in the lunar mansion in the nakshatra Ashwini. And this is the very first lunar mansion of the zodiac. And Mars will be in opposition with Sun and Mercury. And all three planets will be in the nakshatra Swati. And Swati is ruled by Rahu. And Rahu is the upper lunar node, which is at 0 degrees in Gandanta, like I spoke at the beginning of this video, which represents great new beginnings, but also a lot of upheavals. And with Mars and Mercury and the Sun in the opposite house of the lunar mansion, in the sign of Libra, this is the house of relationships. There can be some ego strife happen in relationships and a lot of unrest energies in relationships at the time of the lunar eclipse at the end of October. And it is most important not to lose the ground by falling in illusions and being trapped by misunderstandings and ego-based reactions. It is most important to listen to your heart, to connect energetically to your heart. Your heart has its own consciousness, and your heart knows so much. It is full of deep wisdom. And by connecting to your heart, you might find the right words to speak and to find back in the connection to your loved ones. And by knowing that those intense energies in October, they will not last long. Everything will change. This is one of the universal laws. What we are experiencing right now is that we can perceive more and more conscious the changes that are happening in our world. There is a big crumbling of the old systems, and something new wants to be created by us. And it is not an easy process, but we are ready. We are ready. And there, in the next years, is a great reconstruction that will take place. But I do not see it in any negative way. And it is most important to allow yourself to change yourself, to transform yourself in a better version of yourself. And this happens by allowing to feel your feelings and to heal your inner wounds. And then you can transform in this new version of yourself. And it is really important to face your own responsibilities here on earth and to serve the greater whole. And in this sense, I wish you a good start into the month of October, and let your light shine, and let those energies of the eclipse help you in your own healing process. And please share this video with like-minded people, and I love you. Namaste.